Hey guys, welcome back to my channel if you're new here. My name's Victoria and this video deserves a quick little introduction. So over the weekend, I was invited to be a guest speaker at the ShowSkills seminar put on by the ASC of New South Wales Next Generation team. And I was there to speak about social media and how agricultural shows can best utilise the online world. And I had a lot of fun. It was a very daunting task, but it was a really great experience. The weekend itself was really interesting. It was great to be in a room with a whole bunch of like-minded people sharing ideas and learning new things and stuff that you can take back to your show societies in order to make our agricultural shows the best they can be. It was definitely a daunting task being a presenter, but it was so enjoyable. I had a lot of fun putting this presentation together. And because it appeared that a lot of people got to take away a whole bunch of ideas from what I was talking about, I thought it'd be a really good idea to put my presentation up online for others to utilize and get something out of as well. So not only have I got this video which you're about to watch, but I also have a blog post which I will link below. I just want to say a massive thank you to the Next Gen Committee for inviting me along as one of their presenters. It was definitely, as I said, a daunting task, but I also had a lot of fun and it was really comforting to see people taking notes during my presentation. So I hope that it has helped you. Feel free to share this video and my blog post around with fellow show societies and committee members and anyone else in the show family, because it is probably going to be helpful to them as well. If you have any questions about anything I've talked about, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Talk to me on social media, slide into my DMs, or feel free to email me. All the details will be in the description below. And yeah, I hope you enjoy and I hope you do get something out of this presentation. So I've been running social media for the Finley Show for about a decade now, since the 6th of August 2009 to be exact. Everything I've learned about social media in that time has come from hands-on experience, both with running the Finley Show accounts and my own personal blog accounts. So I've got no formal social media marketing training or a piece of paper that says I'm qualified in digital communications, which means you don't actually have to have a degree in order to be able to make the most out of social media for your show. So this presentation is all about giving you a behind the scenes look at what I do on social media, and hopefully give you some tips and ideas on how to better utilize online platforms to help promote your show and to better connect with your community. So starting off with a big reminder, social media is free advertising for your show, so you'd be silly not to utilize it to the best of your ability. As we all know, advertising can be expensive, so we really do have to make the most of free and cheap options. Before we actually get into the good stuff, this is something I believe is really important to consider when you're finding someone to run your socials. Make sure you have fun and are excited to create content. This is clearly something I love doing, otherwise I wouldn't still be doing it 10 years later. Hell, I probably wouldn't have started it in the first place. And while we may all be very passionate about the show movement, we aren't all deeply invested in or interested in social media. Trust me when I say that your pages and content will come across so much better if you actually want to be there and enjoy what you do. You'll actually want to create content, be creative, and experiment with what you post, and people will be able to see that in your posts. So on to the all-important question, which platforms work best for shows? The platforms that Finley uses are the ones that I use personally and felt could benefit the show society. There's really no point in creating an account on a platform that you yourself don't use, understand, or enjoy using, because you are probably going to have a difficult time utilizing it for the show. After 10 years, I feel like I have a pretty good gauge at what works best for shows and what is worth spending time on or not. So Facebook. This will obviously be your main platform where the largest part of your audience will be found, and you'll actually engage with people of all ages. It's the easiest platform to connect with your local community as well as exhibitors further afield and other show societies. Social media is of course the best way to connect with other shows, to see how they do things and to pick up ideas, so keep that in mind both with how you post things and if you're looking for ideas, go check out some other shows' accounts. Facebook easily allows for multiple admins, editors, and moderators. I recommend that you have at least 2 people, with one person in full control as admin and other people added as editors. For Finley, we have 4 people. Myself, who does probably 90% of the work, and 3 other people who are on hand to post when necessary. If you are only going to use one social media platform, this should be it. Instagram. This is a platform that more and more show societies are joining, so now is the perfect time to create an account if you haven't already. It's a very visual platform, so you should put some thought into what photos, images, and graphics you are posting. You will end up connecting with a younger audience, although that's not always the case, as I will explain in a minute. By using Instagram stories, you can give a behind the scenes look at what is going on with your show, and again, I will talk about that more in a moment. Because Facebook owns Instagram, you can connect your accounts for more insights and easy cross-posting, hitting 2 birds with 1 stone, making it an easy task for you. Instagram is a platform where you can really utilize hashtags, so create a hashtag for your show. The one downside of Instagram is that links don't actually work in each individual post. However, you can get around this by reminding people that the link to your website is in your bio. Also note that Instagram only allows you to be logged into 5 accounts at any one time. So if you have a lot of personal, community, or fan accounts, it could be a hassle switching between them all. Twitter. I personally feel like Twitter would be better suited to larger shows in more suburban areas where more of your community and audience will be using the platform. It is something to note that people who use Twitter and Instagram are not necessarily interested in connecting with their local agricultural show on the platform. They may happily follow you on Facebook, but it's not always going to be something they want to see in their Twitter and Instagram feeds. They're probably following celebrities and influencers. It's interesting to note that the RAS has nearly 3,500 followers and posts pretty much every single day, but they barely get any engagement on their posts, meaning this is probably a good indication as to how successful and beneficial Twitter is for shows. However, if you yourself use Twitter, then by all means create an account for the show, but you don't necessarily need to invest your time into a platform if you don't use Twitter or are a small show. Finally, YouTube. This is a great platform if you have someone in your committee or band of volunteers who is interested in video creation, both filming and editing. It's not necessarily needed if you just want to post the occasional video to Facebook. However, if you are looking at embedding videos on your website, you will need to upload them to YouTube. And it looks so much better if videos are on your show's account rather than your personal channel. If you are going to create video content, and not just for YouTube, be sure to use royalty-free music. You don't want to receive a copyright strike, have the music removed from your video, or the video taken down entirely. This is what the Finley Show's channel currently looks like. For our roast show and dog trials, I film and edit little montages of the event. For our show, it's more specific videos, like the official opening, grand parade, live membership presentations, showgirl presentation and announcement, etc. Videos aren't necessarily going to get a lot of engagement, especially for small shows, but it's a good archive to look back on. At the end of the day, and after all of that, all show societies really should have a Facebook page, and do make sure it's a page and not a group or a personal profile. The second platform to join is Instagram. Everything else after that is completely optional. So now onto the good stuff, creating engaging content. One social media tip that I picked up years ago, and is the one thing I live by when it comes to social media management, is whatever you post, make sure you always include an image or graphic. Don't just post text. It's honestly such a pet peeve of mine, especially when I see community and small local business pages posting boring text posts. People see and engage more with visual content compared to straight text. Chances are you yourself pay more attention to the images and videos on your newsfeed than you do blocks of text, especially short text updates. Your page will look so much more fun and vibrant and active. People will actually be able to find information they are looking for at a quick glance instead of scrolling through a whole bunch of black and white text. Plus, it is super easy and you don't need any graphic design skill. You 100% do not need to pay a graphic designer to create your social media content. Most shows cannot afford to be spending money on unnecessary things, unless of course you have someone on your committee who is a graphic designer. Posting photos from your show or event. Pretty simple. Include a relevant photo from your most recent show with each post. When you are taking photos, try to get a handful of photos from each area and event of your show. Not only is it a good archive, but it will mean that you have plenty to choose from when it comes to social media posts. I managed to take 300 photos at our show last year, which does sound excessive, but it has helped a lot. And also think outside the box when taking photos. Try getting shots from different angles and putting the main focus on different subjects. Online images. If I'm being completely honest, this is the option I would least recommend, but it is useful in the beginning. Do a quick Google image search for relevant images, preferably stock photos and clip art. This is an area you do have to be careful with because you don't want to be stealing images from other shows and photographers without their consent. At the end of the day, you want to be promoting your own stuff, so using your own photos is the better option, except of course with events that are new to the show and when talking about entertainment, etc. Photoshop, pretty simple. If you know your way around Photoshop, create graphic and images to tie in with the topic of your post. But the most important one, and the one I will be going into further detail with, is Canva. This is my holy grail. It's a free online graphic design resource that you will 100% utilize across the entirety of your show. So how do you use Canva to create content? I literally use Canva for everything. It's like Microsoft Publisher, but way better, in that it has templates for a multitude of different creations with a whole bunch of different designs for each template. It's free to sign up. There are paid and premium options, but with so much available for free, you won't need to fork out any money. It's easy to use. There is no experience needed, and you'll learn more and more as you use it and play around with it and find out what you like to do with it. You can create content for literally every social media platform. Plus, it can also be used to create posters, flyers, tickets, documents, schedule covers, certificates, cards. I actually used it to create this presentation. Plus, if you are interested, go check out the Finley Show's schedule cover for 2019. That was created on Canva too. All of your creations are saved to your account so you can continue to work on pieces, download them later, or come back and edit pieces in the future. So do create an account using the Show Society's email address so that anyone on the committee can utilize it. Plus, it's also got an app connected with it, making it easy to create and download content on the go. Here are some examples of the graphics I've created. As you can see, I incorporate both text and the relevant images, anything to get people's attention to what your post is talking about. You don't want your graphics to include a lot of text, maybe just the topic and the most important piece of information. The bulk of the text and information required will be in the body of the post itself. And just for anyone interested, you're all getting a sneaky peek look at a post that will be going up next month. A majority of the content I post in the lead up to our show, which is at the beginning of September, is spotlighting different sections of the show, mainly in the pavilion, to get people interested in entering. This one, as you can see, is the men's chocolate cake competition. It's kind of good if you can establish a bit of a voice and tone for your posts and have a bit of fun and a laugh when you're posting. So mixing things up. Remember, you don't have to be restricted to just text and image posts. There's a lot you can do to mix up the content you post and engage your audience. Emojis. Now, don't go crazy or make your posts look unprofessional, but utilize a few relevant emojis in your posts. It'll make your content a little more fun and interesting. And also, it goes without saying that you don't use emojis in important or sensitive posts. I even try to use emojis in my graphics for a little extra pizzazz. Facebook live streams. This is definitely something I recommend you try if you haven't already. It's honestly best to stream your most important event or moment, like your showgirl announcement or your official opening. The most engaging live stream I've found is the showgirl announcement, particularly if you do announce your winner prior to the show at a dinner or afternoon tea. When it comes to zone and state finals, I find it better to live stream your entrance on stage interview as it will be of more interest to your audience. You might not actually get a ton of people watching or interacting live, but make sure you post a live stream to your page afterwards as you get a lot of engagement then. And just a little tip, when I'm prepping for a live stream, I find it best to write a caption out in the Notes app to then copy and paste just before you start streaming. And always include a description of why you're going live so people can decide whether they do want to tune in or not. Insta stories. I love using Instagram stories, and it's the perfect way to give people a behind the scenes look at what is going on, particularly in the lead up to your event. Plus, it's just good to share snapshots around the ground on show day. Do make sure you save the most important and interesting stories to your highlights. This year, I'm going to be trying something new with story templates. I created 4, 1 bingo and 3 this or that's, which I'll post closer to the day to hopefully engage more people. Obviously, I can't tell you yet how successful they'll be, but it's something to try if you're into story templates as well. IGTV. This is not something I've utilized much, but it is an area of Instagram that has a lot of potential. You can only post videos up to 1 minute on your feed, so IGTV allows you to post longer videos on Instagram. Play around with what type of content you want to shoot and what content you think your followers will be interested in seeing. Facebook events. Each year, create a Facebook event for your show and whatever other events you run. Even though you are posting updates directly to your page, it's another way to connect with people and improve your reach. Giveaways. Again, not something I've done for Finley yet, but I know a lot of shows have had great success with it. In the lead up to your show, have an entry ticket or ride pass giveaway on Facebook or Instagram and get your followers to enter by liking your page, liking the giveaway post, and either sharing the post or tagging friends in it. You'll create more buzz and excitement for your event as well as upping your reach and engagement. Really important, keeping on top of posting content. We don't all have the time to sit down and create and post every single day, so it's really important to keep on top of what you are posting, especially in the lead up to your show when literally everything is happening and a lot of information needs to be shared. Firstly, plan ahead. Spend some time planning ahead, especially in the lead up to your show. Know what you need to post and when, and make sure you give people enough time to see your post and act accordingly. Bulk create graphics. Again, plan ahead with your graphic creation and make them in bulk instead of just when you need them. Spend a day, weekend, or a couple of days doing this because it'll be so much quicker than doing it the day you need it right at the last minute. Scheduling is your friend. Take advantage of scheduling posts. Facebook makes it super easy to schedule content, and by spending an afternoon scheduling content for the next week, 2 weeks or month, you'll free up your own time. Instagram is yet to include a schedule feature, but it's really easy to make posts and save them to your drafts for quick posting when required. But please remember, just because you are scheduling content doesn't mean you can neglect your page during that time. You still need to check in once a day to keep on top of messages and comments. It'll look really bad if content is automatically going up every single day, but you still haven't replied to someone's message. I currently have 28 posts scheduled for the most of August, pretty much every day from the 8th onwards, so I'm free to work on other show related things, which trust me is a lot. If you are scheduling a lot of stuff, it may be a good idea to plot everything out on a calendar so you can keep track of what is going up when. I use the app and website Team Week to manage all of my social media content, and it's been super helpful for keeping track of what to post when. Apps and websites of use. There are so many free online resources that you can use for content creation and management, and these are just some of what I recommend. Apps wise, the Facebook Pages app. While you can obviously keep your page updated through the Facebook app itself, it is so much better to keep all your page stuff in the one place using the app. Canva. So while I don't create content on the go, as I prefer the easier use of the website, using the app is also helpful if you want to download your designs straight to your phone. Team Week. As I said, this is what I use for content management. It's definitely something to check out if you do manage multiple accounts, or you could actually use it for the intended team task management. Google Photos. This is what I actually use to sync images between my computer and my phone. This is also just a good resource in general for backing up the photos on your phone without paying for cloud storage. Giant Square. If you want to create those really awesome large photos on your Instagram grid, this is a good app to use. It's free and really easy to use, and all you have to do is ensure you upload the segments in the right order. Live Collage. There's a ton of collage apps out there, but this is a really good one. It's easy to use, has a good number of free layouts, and it doesn't leave a watermark on your images. I know we all have the Notes app on our phone, and it's a really good thing to use. I use the Notes app to save my generic hashtags to then just copy and paste as I need them. It is much better than continually typing them out with each post. The YouTube Creator Studio app. If you are going to go down the video creation route, this is a handy app to have on hand, although not really necessary. Websites. So obviously Canva, Team Week, and Google Photos have websites connected to their apps for each use. You have the Be Funky photo and collage editor. This is pretty much a desktop version of the apps you get on your phone, so really good if you want to create a whole bunch of stuff on your computer. Then there's PDF to image. This is not something you'll have to utilize a lot, but it's good for when you need to convert PDF posters and flyers to images in order to post them. There are obviously a whole bunch of other apps and websites out there that you may already use or you could stumble upon later, so don't feel like these suggestions are the be all and end all. Staying active all year round. Just because your show is over doesn't mean your pages should go silent. Obviously, it is super easy for me to be here telling you to keep your pages active when the Finley Show Society runs 4 events throughout the year, meaning once one event is over, we are straight into the next one. So I know this isn't a luxury that a lot of show societies have, considering most only run their annual show. But it is super important to stay active online. Facebook and Instagram have really weird algorithms that mean if you're less active, you won't be shown in people's feeds as much. So taking 3 months off isn't going to work in your favor. You need to keep posting regularly, preferably at least once a week, but every other week during your off season is fine. So how exactly can you keep active all year round? Firstly, go behind the scenes. Within reason, of course, let people know what the committee is up to behind the scenes. Chances are a lot of the community don't realise just how much work goes into running the show, so give them a bit of an insight. This is also a good chance to get people interested in what goes on behind the scenes and possibly get involved. Share non-show posts. Don't feel like you have to stick to solely your show. It's totally okay to share posts from other community groups and businesses about the goings-on in your community. Plus, agricultural industry posts are your friend. If they relate to your local area, give them a share. The ASC Facebook page can be a good indication of what non-show content you could share, since there are a myriad of posts shared there. And my favourite, share show history. Recording and archiving the history of the Finley Show is another one of my roles within the Show Society. Take advantage of Wayback Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, or Flashback Friday and delve into your show's archives. Whether it be from way back at the beginning, something within the past 50 or 60 years, or something in the past decade, people love taking trips down memory lane. It's also the perfect opportunity to ask people to share any history, memorabilia, or memories they have of the show with the committee. And this is how you'll be able to grow your archive. If you have a milestone show coming up, this will be very important. Honestly, talking about researching, recording, and archiving your show's history is a whole talk in itself, and if you were genuinely interested in doing this, I'm always free to chat about it. But for the sake of a throwback post, try your local museum or historical society, library, or local newspaper office for records and newspapers. And for a real quick bit of history, use the website Trove, a digitized newspaper database run by the National Library, to search for your show and find articles generally pre-1960s, depending on your local newspapers. The big scary question: are analytics and insights important to shows? Analytics and insights can seem scary and confusing, but they honestly aren't. However, I don't think it's necessary for shows to get too wrapped up in what the numbers say. As shows, we are posting a whole host of content updates and announcements, some of which won't appeal to everyone, so not every single post is going to perform the same as the previous or the next. It goes without saying that your Showgirl announcement post is going to perform a lot better than your post reminding people of when the show office is open. Looking at your Facebook insights is interesting, just to see how good your reach is. However, I personally think that it shouldn't dictate what content you do and don't post, but it does give you something to think about. On Instagram, make sure you set your account to a business account so you can access your insights. One of the most useful insights to know is when your audience is at its most active online, so you know the best time to post. This is probably the most important analytic to focus on and have the most influence over when you post content. To help increase your likes on Facebook, occasionally go through the likes on recent posts and invite people to like the page if they haven't already. At the end of the day, don't stress about the numbers. Just keep working on creating vibrant and engaging content and people will follow. Go forth and create. So I think that about wraps up all that I've got to share. Because this is something I've done for the past decade since I was 13, it's all become second nature to me. So I kind of don't realize that it's not necessarily something that everyone knows or is aware of. I hope I've given you something new to try and play around with. Also, just because this is how I do things doesn't mean there aren't other ways to utilize social media. You may have been doing something that works really well for your show, so don't feel like you have to change just because I've shared something different. Definitely try some of the ideas I've shared, but don't get rid of something that already works well for you. Just remember, make sure you have fun and everything else will follow naturally.